The Academy tells us, quote, "There is no need for every single cell inside the cranium to be dead for the brain death to be confirmed." So if you look at these pictures, that is what the situation should be in theory. Left, healthy control, right, vegetative state, and in the center, brain death. But in reality, it can be like this. It probably mostly is. Because the tests are not able to confirm that there is a total cessation of brain activity. So first the body is reduced to the brain, and then the brain is reduced to the areas actually tested by brain death protocol. That was the second reduction. And there is a third reduction. The Pontifical Academy is treating the brain dead patient as if he had no soul, because it is identifying the loss of brain activity with the absence of soul. This conclusion would only be correct if the brain somehow contained the soul. But no one really is arguing that way, and there's no evidence for this at all. The Academy's majority statement is quoting St. Augustine, Aristotle, and St. Thomas Aquinas in order to uphold its opinion that the soul has left the body when the brain stops functioning. Superficially read, these quotations may be taken as a backing for the Academy's position, but they are not. With all due respect to these philosophers and theologians, they surely didn't know about the medical condition of brain death and the modern possibilities of intensive care. So their remarks on brain activity and soul have to be reconsidered in the light of our present knowledge about, for instance, pregnant women with the loss of brain functions. And I'm quite sure that they would not call such a woman a corpse. Furthermore, the Academy itself states brain function is not necessary, quote, for the ontological unity of the organism, which is directly conferred by the soul without any mediation of the brain, unquote. How can they argue in the same paper that brain death is a valid sign of death, which should be the separation of body and soul, when there is unity without mediation of the brain? As stated before, there is much life and integration in a brain-dead body. So it is, to say the least, likely to have a life principle. And finally, the brain is not an essential part of a living and ensouled human being, as is demonstrated by the early embryo, which doesn't even have a brain for the first weeks of its development. So my conclusion is, the concept of brain death ignores parts of the brain, ignores 97% of the integrated body, and ignores the nature of the human being as a unity of body and soul. The concept of brain death ignores important facts. For me, as a judge, there is at least reasonable doubt that brain death is death. There is no certainty, and therefore the principle of precaution must prevail, like Pope Benedict said. This principle forces us to treat brain-dead patients as living human beings and to respect their right to life. Thank you.